and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's episode of Critically Casual, where I have to move over to the side a little bit, and Dev's over here eating corned beef. Say hi, Dev.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Yeah, it is a lovely day. Good job. I'm proud of you. I wonder how... Oh, God. Okay, let's just move on. I'm done. Already done with you. We've gone mad. It's Mad Max week, for some reason, on today's St. Patrick's Day of Critically Casual.
You know, you really should plan this out better.
Yes, we should. As a
I'll
group.
say this. I will say this. Mad Max wasn't my suggestion.
We really just threw out movie ideas. I don't know where we decided.
For some reason, we didn't look at the holiday schedule.
No. We just decided, you know what? Let's just choose Mad Max for some goddamn reason, and here we are.
Hey, you know what? Any reason to watch Fury Road again? I'll take.
You're not entirely wrong.
Because, like, when we get to it, I'm going to talk a lot.
Mm-hmm. Fury Road, pretty good. Mad Max, pretty good.
Pretty product of its time, but good.
Yeah. So
there's our review. Go home.
Yeah, there we go. All right, now straight on to Mad Max Fury Road. No, okay, I'm kidding. So, Dev, oops, sorry. Is there anything you want to talk about before we hop right into, before we drive right into the sunset of explosions and madness?
And live action stunts? Yeah, sure. Steven, hard at work. He uploaded everything for the last couple weeks for the channel over here. So you can follow us on YouTube. I don't have a command for that, but we do have the YouTube link down below. So make sure to check that out. Our plan is to upload the podcasts 2 days after they air. And we will be uploading our back catalog of all of Critically Casual because they're reviews and it's, you know...
Might as well.
We reference a lot of our old reviews anyways, so it makes sense. And we don't have all of the catalog for Har Har Podcast and T-Pop on hand, back catalog. We have some, but not all. So we might upload some of the older ones to those. We might cherry pick which ones.
Some of the more fun ones and the ones where we don't break Twitch TOS.
There was only two. Only two. 2 times.
2 times. 2 times.
Not make it more.
2-time world champion TOS breakers.
Fuck off. Anyways.
2-time.
Make sure you check out over there. It will be uploaded at 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific Daylight Time, not whatever it is. Pacific Time and 1 Eastern Time for that 2 days after they air. So look forward to that.
Yeah. So with that in mind, let's just burn some gasoline and hop right into Mad Max. This Mad Max, the very first Mad Max, released in 1979.
Oh, wait. I was going to look up also one thing.
You're going to look up when Road Warriors came out?
No.
Okay.
No, it comes out after.
Yeah,
we just couldn't remember. Like, the problem is, the first one's called Mad Max, the second one was called Road Warriors, but it almost, at least from the titles, it almost makes sense to flip it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's more of a road warrior in this, and then he becomes Mad Max.
Yeah, exactly. It makes more sense that way. And
well, that's why the names were, like, when we were choosing these, we were like, we flipped the titles in our brains.
I didn't double check when the dates of the movies were released, but the titles were mixed up in our minds, yes. But yeah, Mad Max, the original Mad Max movie, where we first learn how Mad Max kind of sort of starts becoming mad.
Yeah, no, it's fun. Like, this film is just a lot of fun, honestly.
Yeah, it's like, it definitely, I'll be honest, it had me confused at some moments. Like, I was watching and I was like, what's happening? Why are we even here right now? But once I got past that, it was a fun movie to watch. You really get to watch, like, you get to see Mad Max and his character develop into what he becomes by the 4th movie, Fury Road, and you really get to see how the world changes just starting in this movie. Like,
Yeah, you can see like just after things start to go to shit because everyone needs gas.
and it's really interesting and fun, I think, to see.
Yeah.
It's like there's still semblances of society in this moment, in this world. That's why Mad Max is part of the what does that say? Something force of the future. It's too small for me to read right now. Hang on. Maximum force for the future. Yeah, he's a cop. That's weird. Like when I watched Mad Max Fury Road the first time, I didn't think, "Huh, that's what he meant by he said he was a cop" in the very beginning of the movie. And they're
kind of cops with a lot less red tape.
Yeah, like a lot changes, and if the timeline is consistent, like with our time, 40 years, a lot changes in 40 years.
It's not really gonna be 40 years though, because like Max's character hasn't aged. But no, the other thing I really appreciate about this film, can you just throw me a number for the budget?
For Mad Max?
Yes.
Oh, I know Mad Max was a really low budget film, but if I had to guess how low of a budget, it'd probably be about 150,000.
More.
Okay.
A little over double that. It's 350,000.
Okay.
One, they use every cent of that to just destroy the shit out of cars, and I love it.
Oh yeah. This is very
oh
much.
Oh my god.
They very much modify these vehicles to be like, when they take damage, they're gonna explode. They look cool before it and after it. So it's like, God, this movie.
It's a fucking blast seeing these cars literally just tumble throughout the air the entire time. Like, my God.
I do have to say, there was like individual moments in the film because it's, as you say, it's a product of its time. So there were things that they were doing in the movies that were shortcuts, like using the exact same reaction scene twice in the film. But,
yeah.
So that small moments like that kind of bug me. But other than that, this was a totally fun little like side adventure to go down before like hopping into what Mad Max became.
Yeah. But no, it's fun. Well, I'll say this: it's not fun because of its premise.
No,
but the premise is kind of cool, or its plot. I'll say, I guess, is more because the plot is depressing as fuck.
Oh yeah, the characters are kind of fun.
Characters are fun. The world's fun. The goddamn car action is fun, and it's just I can appreciate it. Mind you, the main actor Mel Gibson does lose his fucking shit later on in life, and it does leave a weird moment where you're like, oh yeah, this is that guy kind of thing, you know? Which is weird that we live in a time where like, oh yeah, he kind of went off the fucking rails that one time. But other than that, I mean, still a really fun film. The villains are cool. The premise is cool. It's cool to see a lot of Australia, too.
Yeah.
Like, how much Australia is very different where you go.
You mean how it's exactly like how it's depicted, where there's the outback, and then there's civilization, and that's it?
And then there's trees?
Yeah.
Tree area, desert, civilization.
God. Like,
yeah.
Overall, I have to say with this movie, I did like it. Like we've been saying, it was fun, but I do have minor complaints, especially as I said, it was confusing. There were some moments in the story where I was like, okay, why is this a thing? Like with the motorcycle dude who wears the suit. I can't remember his name. The one that Goose gets all mad about. Like,
oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah, like, I may have missed something, but, like, how Goose's whole conflict with that character started, or...
It's because there's, where they find him.
And what he's attached to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I understand that, but then we just skip to the next scene, and the laws of this world don't make sense to me. Like, it's a fun world, but they don't really explain much. And then it makes more sense later on with like Mad Max why it's become what it's become. It's because people stopped giving a shit, even though they pretended they were giving a shit.
Yeah, pretty much. Not to go back to this, but do you want to guess how much it grossed?
This film grossed
Yes.
compared to what it. I'm gonna guess about $3 million.
Oh, do you want worldwide or US first?
Hit me with the U.S.
8,750,000.
Oh, nice. It was very popular back in 1979.
As of this is cumulative world growth as of the 31st of December 1982.
Okay.
$100 million
Worldwide?
worldwide.
Damn. Nice.
Right? Could you imagine spending, $300,000 and essentially, God, the math on that, like your profit margin on that one film.
My only thought here, like the very next film, Road Warriors, was done by a different production crew under a different director, but it still had the same actors. Like I think I want to know. I don't remember if they were like bought out afterwards or like the property was bought or if it was just the same, like, I don't know. I know things changed between movie 1 and movie 2 quite a bit. I don't know how they changed.
For that one, damn. It made its money back opening weekend, which is good. The budget on the second one was like $2 million. Gross worldwide, or gross US, sorry, was only $12 million.
Okay. Alright. So not as much.
Yeah.
Not as good as Mad Max. But still, it warranted...
Just US. I mean, like, ratio-wise, not as good.
Yeah.
But it still made $10 million on top of what it spent.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's alright. It's good. And then it warranted Mad Max 3, and then a couple decades later, we got...
Yeah, that one budget of $10 million, grossed US $36 million on the third one.
Okay.
So, a $26 million growth for gross, come from it. That's not counting, because advertising.
Yeah, I get
very
you.
different.
We're no longer talking about the movie anymore. Let's get back onto that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we've gotten on a far tangent.
My bad. No, it's a fun film. And if you like seeing practical effects, practical stunts, this is a film for you.
Mm-hmm. I just noticed there's words underneath my image of me.
Oh, I thought you had them there for a reason.
Nope, I didn't see them until just now. Oh well. So, otherwise, I'm going to say that this movie was confusing to me at times, but otherwise it was fun. And if I had to rate this movie out of 10 popcorn kernels, I would probably...
What's a star?
The things in the sky, Dev. We're not barbarians here. We know what stars are. It's just not how we rate our movies.
I thought those were all popcorns.
You are mad. You're breaking out the cancer in my lungs.
Noticed.
Okay, so if I had to rate this out of popcorn kernels, I would probably give this... I'll give it a 7. It's okay. It's fine. It's fun. It's a good start. And for 1979, with the budget they had, they did a really good job. So, can't blame them for that. So, yeah. Dev?
I'm going to go a little bit higher than you, probably at a 7.5. But that's also just because I love practical effects.
Yeah, the practical effects in this.
And even though CGI wasn't really a thing at this time, it's still cool seeing stunts and shit like this pulled off the way they did it. So, I mean, that's just how I feel. It's pretty freaking awesome. So,
All right. So with that in mind, let's move on to our next film, which is Mad Max Fury Road.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
I hate you.
You can't hate me.
Sure, I can.
Goddamn, is this movie just intense from start to finish?
It really, really is. It it may have some slow moments, but even the like slower moments in the story are really good. They're like really emotionally driven. They're character driven. There's a lot of impact, and
And they also bring a lot of tenseness to the situation too in some of
exactly
those.
like it's this film has so many great things about it. Like I only have minor complaints, and it's only one minor complaint, and it's just that I think there were too many wives. But we know why there are that many wives. It's just, whatever. Like it just we didn't get enough time to see all of their characters develop. So you know what, yada blah blah blah. But everyone else that we got to see in this world, all the individuality, all the clans, all the vehicles, all the cinematography and the action and the stunts and the
Oh, the
lighting.
cinematography in this film, like,
Dude, you have no idea how many times I watched this in college because of the damn canyon chase scene. And that is a fucking fantastic piece of driving action and cinematography, and this movie is a great film.
oh yeah, no, without a doubt, this movie it just steps on the gas and go, man.
And it's not just a pun.
So much fun. No, it's not. That's literally what this film does. It doesn't stop when it starts going. Like, it's so goddamn fucking cool too. Because all the stunts, like, I was talking about the last one. This one just blows that film out of the water when it comes to stunts.
Oh, yes. Like,
Dude, there's people on giant fucking poles.
I was just about to talk about them. They literally had people hooked onto fucking harnesses going 80 miles an hour through the fucking desert as they're bobbing back and forth. Yeah. They,
I'm just sitting here like, yo! And two, one, I also love the sound.
mm-hmm. The sound design is
Something else?
yes. It's out
Like,
of this world.
Because, I have a new headset. Corsair headset. Really nice. I've got a new mixer and stuff like that. So, I literally had my volume all the way up, leaned back in my chair like this. The top of my chair was vibrating like I was in a theater, because of how loud I had the thing going, but it was worth it. But just like the moments with, like, especially the guitar player, every time he crosses anywhere on the screen, the music moves.
Yeah.
And just that detail alone.
Dude,
It puts you in it.
I could just imagine being that guitar player on these sets. Like, okay, your only job is to stand here and just rock out while we drive really fast, okay? Okay.
Okay.
and he's suspended, so he's floating around doing whatever the hell he wants to do. It's really cool.
Dude, it's so awesome. Like, there's so many little moments too, like the gun moments between Charlize Theron's character, Furiosa, and Tom Hardy's Max.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the moments when they're, cooperating and working together. Like,
dude, it's like that with all of the characters, even with like when I can't remember the Chrome guy's name at the moment for some goddamn reason.
Oh, are you talking about Nicholas Holt's character Nux?
Yes, Nux.
What a lovely day!
Yeah.
Sorry, that was the last time I was going to use it, was when we talked about Nux, okay? I promise that's the last time.
Thank you, because you've used it 3 times, and that's the maximum amount of times I think can be funny. That's the rule of thirds.
I know, but I had to make sure you weren't going to get too pissed at me for that one. I planned this out before we even started. I was going to tell you before the podcast, but I felt it would be funnier if I just did it organically.
Yeah, it was fine.
Start of the podcast, start of the movie. Like, he's just so intense.
hmm And the instant interactions were just how they become like they hate each other, but instantly they start working together, and like just there's just so much weird, like all these people, they all have the same amount of insanity where they can just click together and it works, and like it
Oh God, right?
this,
Oh my God, it's so cool. And then too, like I really appreciate that they brought back Hugh Keys Bryan, who plays Toe Cutter from the first film, um, to play Immortan Joe. Like,
hmm
like they're probably not the same character, but to me, headcanon wise, they're the same character.
yeah.
Because we technically we see a body for Toe Cutter, but we don't see.
I mean, we also get to see at the very beginning of this film all the like
Yeah,
bumps, and there's like road rash and like
yeah,
scars all over the back of
yeah.
Martin Joe. So you very well could be him. We never
My
we don't
headcanon
know.
is Toe Cutter is a Martin Joe, and he just was like, you know what? I'm immortal. It's like their group from the first film is kind of the start of the crazies.
hmm
Good way to put it. So it makes sense. And two, I just, oh God, it's just so, it's so cool.
hmm
This film.
So
I also didn't realize. I'll say this: I didn't realize how many X-Men actors were in this.
hey Dev, this isn't the Marvel moment.
I know because we've declared
not
that
there
we
yet.
we
Give-
can't call out non-MCU
Mhm.
ones.
Yeah, so give it like another year or two, and then maybe you could start calling out these actors, depending on if they get cast in the same roles or.
True, true, but like, cause like,
That
Nicholas
reminds
Hoult
me.
is freaking is beast. You've got Joss Hellman who plays a form of Trask, the guy who creates Wolverine. You got like Zoe Kravitz, who plays Toast. She was Angel, the girl with the wasp wings, in First Class. Like it's just like I was looking at the cast and I'm like, holy shit! Look how many people are in like superhero films too. I'm like, oh, all right, and just not any like they're all part of the same franchise. I was like, damn, like the same time frame of franchise too. Like First Class, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse, and I was like, huh, that's cool.
There we go. That is really cool. They really just went all out with their choice of actors, and
Oh yeah, dude.
can we stop fangirling and just dive into spoilers about this movie?
Well, I feel like there's still some other things we could talk about, like cinematography wise, before going into spoilers. It's just like how they use the lighting and like
Mhm.
I know they didn't use like the best camera possible for this because they used because there are certain moments where you could see that the frame rate is off. But
Actually,
they do it on purpose.
yes, that's not the camera. That's the editing. What they do
Is
is,
it the editing?
yeah, they pull frames in the middle to act to make it seem jumpier, to skippier. It's the purpose of that is to put it so you're in more of like Max's mindset. So it's how he's trying to think and and comprehend everything, but it's his madness getting in the way of what's going on. It's to get us.
But it's so good.
It's really good. Like I'll be honest, there was moments like that, like when it's the very opening scene of the film starts with that like jumpy action, and it was initially kind of off-putting for me because I was like, this is weird. But then when they kept doing it, I was like, this is cool. I like this. This is nice.
Well, like for me, it was like I rented it on YouTube when I watched it, and I was like, all right, you know, I was like, was it the quality? And I put it up real quick and just redid it. I'm like, okay, cool, this is what they're doing. I was like, I remember it being like this, but I want to make sure I'm remembering correctly. But one, Tom Hardy just owns the goddamn role.
Yeah, Tom Hardy is a really good like body actor. Like
Oh, right.
he has a lot of control over just like how his movements portray emotion.
Well, I mean, and, like not to like we talked about it with Venom too. Like that's why the role worked. That's why the movie worked the way it did. Is because Tom Hardy is able to, like, there's one scene in particular from that film I'll talk about is like when he ggets pulled up from the ground when he just gets.
Oh yeah, when it's like when he's like,
and he's like,
what? And then he starts going again. It's like,
yeah, because any actor could have just done, going back up, but Tom just goes, huh? Like he does so much emotion in that, and in this he embodies the madness, and it's so fucking awesome. Like he's so deranged, but in all the right ways.
Yeah, and it's so subtle too. Like it'll be small ticks that he'll do in the moment, like just nervous flinches as he looks from side to side at everybody, and it's like it's subtle, but it's there and it's good.
Oh yeah.
And how you mentioned with like the cinematography before, one of my favorite scenes in this movie is just when they do nighttime, and everything's just blue, but you could still you could see the darkness out there, and it's oddly enough the blue coloring is the most color you see in this film, while also like simultaneously being like the most muted at the same time, and. Like, you'll have moments where your characters are just standing and they're looking at you, and you're seeing in the distance, but you can't see where the skyline begins and the ground ends, and because it all just a blur. Ow! Because I just hit my light, and yeah, like there's a lot of great cinematography in this film,
and also with the nighttime, one of my other favorite moments is the fact that they oversaturate the blue, on everything besides red.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we get back to like a Morton's group, and all of a sudden you see that fucking guitar player sitting there, and his red just like is so bright, and
pops.
just like it pops, man. It pops in every scene it's in too. It's awesome. It's just like, oh my god.
And then
like, just that.
The last thing I want to talk about is just the sound. We talked about the sound design a little bit, but that doesn't encompass like the music that was used in this film. Like we talked about it a little bit with the guitar player, but he at no point was like the actual theme behind the song. He was just like ambient background noise to the scenes, and then the music was like orchestral, awesome moments that really, really took this home.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm lag spiking.
We'll give it a moment to buff out.
There we go. I'm good here.
Okay, cool. But no, dude, it's just like there's so like the music itself just is always there. There's this constant like drum on the back of your head the entire time the movie's action is going on and the driving's going on. Just this.
And it's not even rhythmic. It's like asymmetric pounding that kind of almost matches a rhythm. It's like chaotic driving.
It's chaotic to a beat.
Mm-hmm. It's like all of the drummers.
That's how I would describe it.
It's like all of the drummers are kind of doing their own thing, but they're hitting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 all at the same time. Like they're like,
well, that's about right. But it works.
Mm-hmm.
Like it so works. All of it. Like it's so cool. And then too, like the characters look so unique in so many ways. Like they look similar to each other if they're part of the same pack, but my god, are they unique every time.
Yeah, even the war dogs and the war pups, and they all were painted the same, but they all had like markings on them that made them individuals. And
yeah,
it was cool. This was good.
God, it was so cool.
Character design was cool. Cinematography was good. The music was good. The acting was good. The world that has been made was good. Like, what's not good about this film?
I don't know what isn't. Like, because, like, especially, like, we haven't talked much about it, but the practical effects, again, like, just the amount of stunt wrecks that they do in this that are so well done.
A fun little fact about this film, at least something that I was told in school, is like they didn't even have, like in a normal shoot, when they're shooting films, they plan out everything. Like if a car is going this way, they'll plan out exactly how the cameras are going to move so they can get the exact moment on film just right. And in this stunt, they just picked up a bunch of cameras and just had them driving around with the stunt doubles as they were doing whatever. They planned out the stunts. They didn't plan out the cinematography. And then they just connected it. in post, and like,
Oh yeah, no, and there's never a moment that doesn't feel connected to the next
Mhm.
when it's during the action. Like everything that happens in the action actually happens, and like it doesn't feel like you're cutting between moments in it.
no,
Which it's
like,
really easy for people to do in action. Like you're able, if you do some cuts and stuff like that, you're able to like minor continuity errors that people are going to miss.
yeah,
Able-
like a big argument with action scenes is like they want people to throw a punch and take the hit all within the same shot without being cut. And sometimes you could throw cuts to change the angle every now and then. And this film, like, even when it changes cuts to change the angle of what like the movement in the framing is still the same. Like you'll watch a motorcycle, say like for like if my hand's here, you'll watch a motorcycle fly here to there on the screen, and then you'll cut instantly to a person being right here punching or shooting a bullet this way, and then you'll jump instantly back to the next scene where there's something right where the bullet or whatever you're looking at was, and then it's flying and moving and following the movement from the previous frame. It's like,
yeah, no, it's so interconnected with that.
yeah, it's just
And-
good.
And the amount of like not CGI in this film.
Yes, it especially the one scene when they used CGI, it really you could really tell.
Are you talking about the lizard?
No, I'm talking about when Nux has his witnessing moment for real.
Okay.
Like, and when everything goes up, and they like show the detail of all the parts flying by. You could so very clearly tell that's CGI, and it's the only point in the film where it's like, wow, I could tell that this was made, but it's kind of needed to show
the scale of it.
Yeah,
is just so humongous.
like
that-
they needed that moment to show all the detail, and if they were to just record it and let it go, it wouldn't have shown that detail. So they had to do it some way to give it its big climactic moment. But I wish they did a little bit better, because when they added the slow motion in with the CGI moving parts, it just like it really stood out.
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
my only complaint about this film. Well, second to only complaint. My other complaint is just that we didn't get enough. There was too many wives to get enough character development for all of them in a sufficient way for me. But like,
They all do have their moment.
yeah,
I'll say
they
that.
all have a scene where they have one thought and then they change it to another. Like they do develop. It's just not in a way I like, you know? It's just there. It's not like you don't see a lot of it on screen. It just kind of happens. Yeah, so
Fair. I also say that with the CGI too, like the fact that like most of it was only used for background stuff too, like mountains and changing like making the location what it is, was also really nice. To
maybe
see.
make
It
the
was just-
fires look a little bigger.
Yeah, like just little details like that are like, which is what CGI, in my opinion, should be used more. Because like you do it to use CGI to grow the world, not like break it. And there's also one scene where it's completely CGI, pretty much, but it needs to be, which is the button I have. But that scene is just like, it's such an epic scale that if you didn't have it as CGI, it'd be fucking impossible to show that.
Yeah, no.
Also, but no, other than that, like, dude, just if you haven't seen this film, what the fuck are you doing? Watch this film.
That's harsh, Dev. That's real harsh.
Well, it's honestly, for at least of our time, one of the best movies ever. Like, I don't know of another film that has the action the way it does. Or like, because like this film, just everything works.
Yeah, the only other film that I like as much as I like this one when it comes to cinematography and like music and all that stuff is Scott Pilgrim. And these are two totally different tones of films. Like when you think action film, you wouldn't think like this artsy kind of like very well constructed movie. You'd think like a Marvel film, which has a lot of really cool moments in it, but it doesn't look
that's
like
not just
this.
The action in Marvel either, because like the action in Marvel is so intense. Too.
Yeah, but it doesn't
This
look
is just
anything like
different.
this. Yeah.
And part of it too is the fact that like it is less CGI, so it's able to
It's
kind of
it's captivating. It's like
yeah,
it's the realism.
It's able to look real and be real, and you're like because when you know they're real people literally floating on those fucking poles back and forth, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? This is awesome.
When you actually get to see, like when you're actually watching the film and you're watching a vehicle fly and you're watching this guy jump from the vehicle before it flips, part of that is real. Not all of it, but part of it is real. And like there's actual danger of people jumping out of vehicles flipping at like 80 miles an hour. Not entirely, not 100% like actually what's happening, but there's a lot of danger in these scenes, and it's like, wow, holy crap. And that's just a stunt double. And you're just a character with no name in the background. What are you doing?
Right? being casted in Mad Max film, you're like, oh man, I got background character. I'm not gonna have much to do. All of a sudden,
yeah, as you're bobbing back and forth.
I would never be able to do that, like at all.
That'd be so sweet. I would totally do that.
I know you would, because you're the fuck. Like, to explain this real quick, context. Whenever like any group that I was a part of went to Six Flags, they tried to convince me to go on this pendulum thing.
The Dive Devil.
Yeah, I always told them, hell no. You wanna know who I always saw go on that fucking thing every time he's been to Six Flags? That motherfucker right there.
I had to move my hand over. Me, this guy. I still want to go skydiving. That's like my biggest goal right now. And like when I think about the Dive Devil, where you're at the top of the tower and then you're suddenly diving down and you swing back up, like the weightlessness feeling you get in your stomach is like, I'm gonna throw up, but this is so cool.
You're also the asshole who took me on my first goddamn roller coaster.
Was I?
Biggest. Yes.
Oh.
Remember, you broke Neil as well.
Oh yeah, I put you guys on the Goliath, the biggest roller coaster at Magic Mountain.
There's a photo of it that we didn't actually buy the photo. We should have. But it's me and Steven in the front seat, me terrified, Steven laughing, and our two friends behind us curled up.
Just like not even looking. Just
Because me and one of them were completely afraid of heights. Still am.
Yeah.
But no, like I couldn't do it, and it's so awesome to see people to be able to do it. It's just, oh my god. You know, if I had to say, it's like this movie for me, honestly, it's a 10. I can't dock it points, Steven. I can't find a reason to dock it points. I don't
like
I can't.
you just can't. You just straight up can't.
Dude, it's literally like I asked like today I debated watching it again.
No, I get you.
After
It's
just
good.
watching it last night. I was like, do I have time to do this? I still need a shower. I need help with them with that stuff. No, I want to watch it again.
No, it's good. I would definitely say if we ever like start a Patreon thing and we start doing like auxiliary listen to us talk while we're watching a movie, this is one of the movies we have to watch to do that.
Hell yeah!
Yeah. So
Fuck, definitely on that list.
yes, it is.
I hate you.
So probably is also the Emoji Movie because it's so terrible.
Did we watch that?
I don't know. I think so. I remember watching it. I think it was for this.
Yeah, I think we did. I think I've
We blocked
that
it out of our memory, yeah. I remember watching it. I just don't remember why I watched it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
we watched it.
if I had to rate this movie out of popcorn kernels, I would ultimately give it it's like so freaking great that I want to give it a 10. But at the same time, it's just that one CGI scene that's really off-putting to me. But I can't really...
9.5, so it still goes up to 10.
Sure, I'll give it a 9.5.
You keep your dignity, and we still give it a 10 rating.
Like, this would be the fourth movie Or yeah, fourth movie that's gotten a really high ranking from us.
Well, we've given other movies high rankings. This is just like I think we've only given what two or three movies tens, right?
We've given Black Panther, Avengers Endgame, like regular old tens. We gave
Into the Spider-Verse got a 10.
10,
right?
yes. We recently gave a kids movie a 10, but I can't
How
remember.
to Train Your Dragon.
Yep. So that's 4, but that was a caveat kids movie, and then this one is overall a 10 with no caveats. But it's not like a perfect 10, it's an average 10.
Our perfect 10 was Into the Spider-Verse, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I mean, good group to be in right there. Like, those are all fantastic films. It wasn't Endgame, it was Avengers Infinity War. But
I don't
we're
think
just pumped for Endgame.
I think at the time I gave Endgame a much lower rating than not give it the 10, but in the it's like it's fine. It'll average to a 10. I don't mind that.
Yeah, you were upset against that film.
I was rough against it. It was rough, yeah. But I've watched it again, and it has things that I was too mean about. So there you go.
So, spoiler time?
Spoiler time.
Yes!
We're in spoilers, Steph. For anyone who's here and enjoying Mad Max with us, prepare to be spoiled if you haven't been already.
Oh my god, this film. There's one scene that I wanted to talk about. That's not a huge spoiler at all, but it's when they're in the swamps, and we have no idea about these things. They're just like walkers on like giant stilts, and it's just one shot. Context to them, nothing. But it just draws you in more because you don't need the context.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the world exists as it is.
Yeah, like you already know enough about based on what we've seen beforehand. Like we've seen that all the vehicles driving in this area get stuck in mud as they're driving. And then we're going later on and then we just see these people walking with sticks through mud. It like completely makes sense for these characters to have adapted that way in this moment.
There's so much curiosity as to why are they here? What are they doing? Who are they?
Mm-hmm.
This film, I think, is the perfect. Like this film, because it's kind of a reboot, kind of.
Yes and no. It's a reboot, but it still continues
a
off of the
reboot.
last 4
Yeah,
or the last 3.
it's a reboot Google is how I call it. It's a reboot that's a sequel.
It's a
it goes
soft
off
reboot.
Yeah. But it does the perfect A New Hope, where you're just thrown into the world.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need much explanation because you're able to pick up on what everything is,
Oh yeah.
and then you have curious questions about things you see, like why is this? Oh, what's this? Why are these like this? But you don't need all the answers.
Yeah, if I had to compare this opening to a film to like any other opening to a film, I would honestly, like at least in recent times, I'd compare it to maybe Incredibles 2, where like there's a lot of backstory already from this character, and we get a really brief rundown of it right in the very beginning. And like that way we know what made this character to where they are. Like in The Incredibles, we get to see like them as a family work together, and we get to understand like what their powers are and how they work together before we hop into the majority of the film. Like in Mad Max, we get to see...
reestablishes things.
Yeah.
It's like this.
Yeah, and so it's easily like normally I don't like exposition, but I watched this film without knowing that all the other Mad Maxes were still considered canon for this film. So I was like this was a long time ago. So I was like, okay, so this is what our character is. That's fine, whatever. But then ultimately all that information doesn't matter because this is a film that like doesn't really care what happens in the past. It's just right here, right now, and it's really good. Like, sure, the exposition is there to let us know what happened to our character, but...
So, I think between Thunderdome and this, also, I think Max had a family. Another one.
A second one? It's possible.
Or
It's
raised a small girl.
Yeah. I think it has something to do either with Road Warriors or Thunderdome. Because there was also a scene where there was a man, an African-American man with dreads, who was haunting Max.
Yeah, during the
and,
scene where he sees a lot of other people as well.
Yeah.
Like there's him and then there's one other person, I can't remember who.
Yeah.
And that one where it flashes like 6 people.
I feel like the 6 people was from the first movie. And they're like, we just have to show your original guys real fast. There we go. So, like, there's a whole lot of development right then and there, based on what we see. And then every other point in the movie, we get to see really cool things, like the buzzards and every little community has a design established to it. And it's cool. We don't need to know much other than, like, hey, they're from the Bullet Farm. And they're all decked out in, like, tanks and high artillery and things like that. And that's something
they're
that
from Gastown.
Yeah. And it's like, and this guy's, like, going around rich, covered in gold and, like, nice suits because gas is a hot commodity that everybody needs. So, like, that's really cool character development in this world that maybe movies like, I don't know, Mortal Engines could have taken.
My God, from. Right?
Like
movies we've watched recently could have used this.
Mm-hmm. Like, there's so much in this film that doesn't need to be explained, but it just works. It just, it fits, and it just is nice. Like, there's even a scene where, like, there's all this chaos. There's huge emotions and chaos and, like, action and, like, sadness and happiness and all this shit's going on. And then we cut to see Immortan Joe just sitting there with his war band just in silence as he's humming and he's cleaning something. And it's just the sudden juxtaposition of just things can be calm in the apocalypse too. It's like, this is really cool. This film.
Oh no, it's like, man, it's so good. And two, like, the other thing that I'll say is that, like, man, like the fighting in this film, like the canyon fighting scene towards the end, when they're going back through it, holy fucking shit, so good.
Are we talking about, like, the initial when they're jumping through before Morton Joe comes through, or after Morton Joe and them are coming back?
When they're going back through. When they're going back through the second time.
Okay, yeah. Like,
and that entire scene.
I was honestly sitting there, like, in that scene, I was sitting there holding my breath as I was watching. And, like, as waves of, like, enemies start showing up, it, like, is like, okay, oh God, they finally beat the Tethers. That means they're done with this, right? Nope. Suddenly here come the polearm dudes. Oh, they beat the polearm dudes. Nope, because here's Morton Joe himself right in front of you with the guitar player right behind you, just like...
Oh my God, that fucking scene with him when Max is on there, just like... all of a sudden they're just, like, fighting. You see him, like, bouncing around on it. My God.
That was a part that honestly was kind of... It was cool, but you could tell that part of this film was probably shown in a 3D theater, and that was one of it.
Well, yeah, that, like, when the guitar flies off at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when the CGI happens.
Yeah, it's like just when it's with the guitar, and, like, when Nux dies, when he flips the road tank, whatever it's called, and it crashes into the canyon and everything explodes. Like, there's CGI shrapnel everywhere, and it's cool to see all that detail. But it's really off-putting this when you can see it.
It's off-putting when it's not in 3D. In 3D, I can see that working, but at the same time, not. Because I'll say this: one thing for me with 3D is I don't really like it when the 3D's purposely going like, we're 3D.
Yeah, 3D is better to help render depth in a scene. Yes. I've heard this argument recently. I don't know from where, but I agree.
I want to say it might have been Funhouse.
Yeah, probably. When
they were talking about Alita.
Okay, yeah, I can see that Filmhouse stuff. Yeah,
I think they talked about it that way.
Yeah, where the 3D is just meant to help you see, like, this is the foreground, this is midground, and this is the background.
Yes.
Deep focus.
Yeah, pretty much. And from what it looked like, Alita probably did that really well. Another film that does that really well too is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Mm. Like they do it to add depth. Like those scenes look good no matter how it looks. Mm-hmm. In that movie.
Man, I wish I didn't have an astigmatism. Watching 3D movies sucks.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
You need to have like glasses made for it.
Yeah, can you get me
Um,
prescription 3D glasses, please? Thank you.
Depends on which 3D too, because some 3D theaters, for some reason, still. Um, if you ever go to a theater that requires 3D and it's blue red, you need to stop.
Yeah, you just
Go
leave.
somewhere else.
You just walk out.
Because you need if I'm using 3D, I want the glasses. I want the good glasses.
The ones that you have to return when you're done with the film.
Yes, because they're not blue green. So when you look through them and look around, or not blue red. It still looks normal. And I can close one eye. Well, you can technically do this with regular 3D too, but I can close one eye and not have a discoloration to it, and still be like, "Hey, this looks right." But no, like that scene definitely is one of those scenes that was made for 3D. Mind you, at the same time, the rest of the film doesn't do that. Like the rest of the time, if you were to watch it in 3D, would be depth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only time that like is that scene alone. Nux's heroics.
Like, one thing that I really like about this movie is, like, thinking of depth and focus, and is they're not afraid to really show you the scale of what, like, everything. Like, you'll be driving, you'll be really focused and zoomed in on one person's face, and then the very next scene is you're seeing the entire desert, where you see one vehicle being followed by hundreds, and it's like, and then moments later you're suddenly like on a scene where it's one person talking to another person, but then you could still see everything that's happening in the background because they're still in focus, or just slightly out of focus enough to where it's like we know they're coming, but they're not an issue quite yet, kind of thing.
Yeah. And the really cool thing about it is that like they did all of that, and like the filming for it's so cool because like they make it so that the environment's more than what it is. It's like they film this in like mostly open areas, so they add the mountains and stuff in the background, but they consistently are where they are. Like I don't know, like there's so many things to appreciate about this kind of film. Like because this is a film that comes once a decade max, in my opinion. No pun intended.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just so good. And you know what? There'll be other films that are just as good as this, but for their own reasons.
Yeah.
But this,
like we've talked about 4 movies that came out within the last couple of years that were comparably about as good as this. Yeah.
Just last year alone, those 4 of them, and then Dragon this year. It's such a like. If you watch it, you appreciate it. It's the best way to put it. Like I don't know how else to say it.
Just watch this movie and enjoy what really is a good film.
Yeah.
Like
appreciate detail.
Like this is 100% from now on going to be like, hey, I want to watch a movie that's good for many reasons. What should I watch? I'll be like, either watch Scott Pilgrim or watch this movie. And yeah,
and 2 good choices. Those are 2 really good choices. Or in all honesty, any Edgar Wright film.
You're not wrong.
But no, like just this film is just one that you can't not watch. It's just such a goddamn fucking blast. Just go watch it, people.
Yeah, go watch it. So, with that being said, news?
News. I have maybe want to talk about. I don't know if you want to cover it. It's the Johnny Depp stuff.
I didn't know. I actually don't know about that. So sure, why not?
His ex-fiance had accused him of abuse, but it's come out that over the last week or 2 that it was really the opposite. That hold on, I have some stuff from Twitter for it here. It was trending a little bit ago. Oh yeah, that's why she's trending. I'll talk about that one too, I guess.
Okay.
Where is it? It was trending just a little bit
I
ago.
was about to say, if you find it, can you send it to my Twitter? The email.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I just need to find it. Is the problem? It's a little tough. I can say before we go over to Johnny Depp, James Gunn is back.
Yes, let me throw up that thing. Guys, I made a new transition. Look at, oh, not a new transition, but like, it's a new scene. Look at it. It's so pretty.
Yay.
So yeah, James Gunn is back. Hooray!
Hey.
Which this to me, it's awesome. It's cool that he's back. It means we're probably gonna have Dave Bautista stay in his role as well. So
Yay.
that's cool. It also has me questioning like certain things. Like I know I've heard in the past that working with Marvel. Oops, I gotta move this a little bit. Hang on, I just noticed something. There we go.
Your bars.
Yeah. Okay. That working with Marvel, you're not allowed to work with DC, but James Gunn is still working on Suicide Squad.
I think it's probably because he's already on the project, so leaving it would probably leave him in a pickle.
Yeah.
So you can't really just leave that project right then. But I will say, it's going to be a soft reboot of it anyways. It's going to be a soft reboot to the Suicide Squad. And two, a James Gunn Suicide Squad film sounds awesome. So, like...
You're not wrong.
Yes, please. I mean, I can't complain. So, God damn it, I'm not able to find it. Ah.
Still can't find the article, I see.
Yeah, I was looking for it. I just don't know where it is. Hold on. But no, like, James Gunn coming back is just fucking great.
Yeah. So that was news one. Thank godness that James Gunn's coming back for Guardians 3. So we get his script, we get his directing forces, and we get to see the closure of the story that everyone wanted to see. You know, his
Yeah, exactly.
Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So yeah, good news there. That was movie one. Movie news one. The other movie news, I have found at least 2-3 other things I'd like to talk about. One of them is in the success of Black Panther, Marvel is looking into its first Asian character and a starring role. And it's going to be titled, it's Shang-Chi.
Oh, Shang-Chi? Oh,
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the Shang-Chi, it says, here.
No way.
Featuring-
He's such a cool character.
Yeah, after the success, building on the success of Captain Marvel and Black Panther and the studio's efforts to feature more diverse super characters, the studio has aired Asian American director Destin Daniel Cretton to direct the project. Reported deadline on Wednesday, and the Hollywood Reporter and Vanity have confirmed it.
He's the master of kung fu, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Sweet. I'm happy about that. He's a cool character. He in the comics stuff, he works a lot with Iron Fist as well. So potential way to bring him over from Netflix to film.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm cool with this. I'm cool with this. Let's do it. Let's fucking do it, man.
Yeah, why
Do
not?
it.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. We've had a lot of great movies lately that are not directed towards white male audiences. So another movie that's not directed towards a white male audience that'll probably be really great. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Yes, I know I'm inviting trouble.
I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna fight you on that one.
Another fun little thing that I saw in the news. Let's see here. Why Black Panther almost cost Winston Duke his role in Jordan Peele's Us. So, for those of you who don't know, Winston Duke played this handsome man right here, M'Baku.
M'Baku. Dude, he's one of the best parts of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
Like, M'Baku, he is really strong, really powerful guy, right? You don't see M'Baku being terrified of a doppelganger of himself, right? So he almost wasn't cast as the lead male adult role in Us because Jordan Peele was like, dude, you're a big tough guy. How are you supposed to be scared of things? How are we supposed to make M'Baku afraid of things? And
You put M'Baku up against M'Baku and you get scared.
yeah, so it turns out that all went well because Winston Duke is a great actor. He's very charismatic. And it says here in the article, because I've read through this a little bit beforehand, it was that Winston Duke liked the role of M'Baku, but that's not the role he wants. He wants to be able to show that an African American male can play multiple different roles and portray multiple different emotions. And This Is Us and M'Baku, and This Is Us.
I mean,
and
Us.
Yeah, Us. Sorry.
This is Us is a TV series.
My
Very
apologies.
different.
Yeah.
Very
Us.
different from
Yeah.
Us.
Yeah, Us is just a role that he wants to do, and he thinks he'll do well. And apparently, initial first reviews are been out for a while, and this is a good film. So
I can't wait for next weekend. It's gonna be fun.
it's people are starting to try and compare Jordan Peele to like Steven Spielberg and like other famed directors in the past. And while I could kind of see the comparisons, I don't at the same time. He is his own individual director with his own style. Maybe it's inspired by other directors, but like he
As are any director,
Yeah,
in all honesty.
like-
Even Spielberg was inspired by Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
You know, like
so
like-
like he's not gonna. People saying that like I've heard rumors people are gonna say he's the next Alfred Hitchcock. That no, he is the next Jordan Peele. Like he's just a great director, and that's that. In my
there will be a next Jordan Peele, is what we'll say.
Yeah.
There will be people being like, dude, he's the next Jordan Peele. Because he's killing it right now. So, in all honesty, I would love to see because Epic Rap Battles of History is back.
Oh god, is it really?
I would love. Yeah, they're back. They're coming back this month. I think is the start of the season. They had one come out at the end of last year, as being like, hey, we're here. But I would love to see a new version of the directors battle with like Jordan
Okay.
Peele and with what's his name? He did Aquaman and the Annabelle series.
I I know what you're talking about. Hang on, let me pull it up real fast.
Who? Is his name James Woo? No?
James Wan.
Wan. Okay.
Let me
James
double
Wan.
check. Yeah, James Wan. That was the
Okay.
name I thought, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't being an asshole about it. James Wan.
James Gunn in it. Like, you know, have like kind of more modern ones. Have the Russo bros take up a role in it. What would be great is if some of them actually came in to do those roles.
Okay,
Because Jordan Peele has been in Epic Rap Battles of History.
that's true.
Have him come in and just play himself like a characterization of himself as a director.
No,
Like,
I would want if I were to see an epic rap battle of history of Jordan Peele. I would love to see it be Key versus Peele, and they're just role reversing each other. Like Key pretends to be Peele, and Peele pretends to be Key.
maybe I think that, but I think for them they've been trying to make sure their brands are kind of separate. a
No,
little
I
bit more,
get you.
though.
Yeah.
Though they are both coming back for Toy Story 4 in it. So they're two of the stuffed animals from the fair in it. So
It's gotta be cute and sad.
okay. Yeah, I can't find any major articles that are like able to pull it up right now. But essentially what happened is his wife, I think, was being like essentially assaulted by Amber Heard. And like she had claimed that he abused her, and that's why there was a lot of controversy over his casting in the Fantastic Beasts series. But you know, J.K. Rowling stuck with it, and because she's also a survivor of abuse.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, it right there, that should be a kind of a moment where you're like, maybe there's more to the story than what's being let on.
Mm-hmm.
And then it comes out that, you know, she made up the allegation and she's actually been physical against him. To the point they showed a photo of it. And I'm not gonna show it on the stream because it's graphic as fuck. But his he had his finger pretty much broken, where like a chunk of it was missing.
Oh gosh.
At least that's the one floating around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's actually him. But if it is, dear fucking god, is it disturbing. But yeah, so it's just more crazy stuff going back and forth in Hollywood again. The other thing too is to bring up JK. She did it again with the Harry Potter franchise.
Did she send out a bad tweet that everyone hated for Pottermore?
She did another Pottermore moment.
I want to hear it.
Where she said pretty much Grindelwald and Dumbledore had very intense, passionate sex often.
Well, duh. What do you think the blood oath meant?
But, like, one, there's nothing wrong with it. It's more the fact that, like...
You don't want to picture Johnny Depp and...
no, it's not. Just listen to me, okay? It's detail similar to the fact that,
Wizards and witches
Wizards
used
used
to
to shit
themselves in the
themselves.
hallways.
That's just like, okay, why are you doing this?
It's because I'm tired of being famous, darling. She's like, I'm gonna ruin everybody's favorite franchise so I can make a new franchise.
She's already doing that with the movies. Not to say that Fantastic Beasts 2 is terrible. It's just
it needs a third one to be good.
Maybe a fourth and a fifth. Yeah. They got that far planned out. God damn it.
It's okay. It's like Avatar 3, 4, 5, and 6.
You mean 2 through 6?
Yeah.
It hasn't happened? Anyways, yeah, Rowling just doing more crazy Potter shit as well, so.
Okay. I have one more bit of news here. And it's the date is set for the Disney Fox deal. When it'll be finally closing out. And that is March 20th. So in 3 days, Disney will own Fox.
Which means, what's going to happen? Ryan Reynolds will still be Deadpool.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll keep that. They will probably, they'll set it up in a way that makes sense. So we won't lose all of our, we won't lose some things. We'll lose a lot of things. Like we're probably losing the Doctor Doom movie that was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a good chance it may still happen in a new way.
We're losing.
And I would trust the Marvel Studios for a Doctor Doom film.
We're definitely losing Gambit.
Oh, without a doubt. It would have, like they were saying, would have to have start filming this month.
Mm-hmm.
Or it would have to have start and ended filming this month.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, so no Gambit. That's not happening anymore.
But what you can do is save it, and Gambit will be part of the new X-Men face that you have, because you're gonna want to. Marvel's what they're gonna want to do with the X-Men is bring in different X-Men to be part of the X-Men team.
Mm-hmm.
Like have some ones that people are gonna be familiar with, but also bring in like unknowns.
Okay.
That'd be cool. Like I know Jubilee's shown up finally, but like an actual Jubilee, or maybe bring back Kitty Pryde. Actually use Colossus is kind of popular again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's some characters that you can actually like use.
What about Hydra Bob?
He can actually be Hydra Bob now, can he?
Yeah, he could actually be Hydra Bob now. You're excited about that.
Hydra Bob! I didn't even think about that. And you know what? It also means that we can finally fucking say mutant.
Yes.
In the goddamn
We've got an enhance on the field.
MCU. Well, I mean, enhance still works for their context, but like.
I was about to say, I don't think Cap wants to be called a mutant.
No, they're not like it was more that like in the comics, Wanda and Quicksilver are supposed to be mutants. So, we'll see. Also, what happens with the X-Men franchise may also a little bit depend on how Dark Phoenix does, because it's technically the end of this circuit of X-Men films. But if it does well, Marvel could be like, you know what?
Why not?
We will continue it.
Yeah.
And find a way to bring these characters into it. But I would also maybe not want that because who knows? Because like from the trailers alone, like there's probably some death, and it's very much Last Danny, which, so we'll see.
So that's the last bit of news that I had today. So
Make sure to follow us on YouTube now.
oh wait, we do have one last thing. Sorry, I just remembered. Movie posters. You're able to catch the very end of a live episode of Critically Casual. Caver J. We're talking about next week's episode of Critically Casual now. Welcome!
Yay! We're doing Get Out and Us, which is going to be fun. You did make it before the end. It does count.
Yeah, it still counts.
Dude, this month has been one of those ones that every week until the end I've been looking forward to.
What's at the end of the month? Oh, yes, Dumbo. That's right. Mm-hmm.
Not just that. It's a movie that we paired it with that I've also been dreading.
You don't want to watch Like, I am honestly sad. I agree with you. Like, why did we choose the worst movies to end this month with? But
it's been such a good month so far with the 2 animated DC films that were actually really entertaining. Not that that's surprising, but it was just fun. Captain Marvel deciding to do Mad Max for no reason, and then a Jordan Peele weekend. Like,
yeah, like we've got a good lineup except for Dumbo and Alice in Wonderland.
And Elektra, but Elektra's in the middle of the trash, so it works better.
Mm-hmm.
Or not, is the trash in the middle of everything, not that everything was trash. My bad. Phrased that wrong. Because everything this month has been stellar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Us and Get Out, that's going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, as Dev said, we do have YouTube now. I don't have anything to show you guys. So,
you don't have the link? You can just pop up there.
No, I don't. Dude, our YouTube link is stupid. It's not like /channel/HarHarHQ. It's just a bunch of random ass numbers. Like,
you have to hit a certain point before you get to change that now.
Yeah, it bugs me. So it's like, hey everybody, look at our YouTube, youtube.com/5WCDAFGF1359.
That's why if I ever do links and stuff like that for it, I always put it as like I do the bubbles and stuff like that, and it's just like it just says here's YouTube, and it's just the word YouTube takes you to the hyperlink.
Yeah.
Because setting up any other way is just ugh.
Back before Twitter would allow you to put URLs without using up character count, I actually had to use a lot of bit.ly links, like bit.ly / and then only be like 5 numbers, and so it'd only take up like 8 characters, so it'd be like message of 132 characters and then link. There we go. Cool.
And Jay, that's fair. The trailer's just back and forth for me. There are some points that's like, and then there's other points like, like the, it's like maybe it's okay, and there's moments like, maybe it's not okay. So, I don't know. I also haven't been a big fan of all the live action Disney films, so
Yeah, we'll just have to see.
Yep. We will have to see.
Okay, so I've got nothing else.
I got nothing else.
Yeah. So
That's fair. I try to be the optimistic one here, and I'll probably defend it more than Steven will.
Absolutely.
Even if I probably like it less than he does. There's a chance of that.
I'm definitely going to start yelling about, why the hell is an elephant flying with only its ears? That's not real. Yeah. Why does this revolver have 8 shots in it instead of 6 before he reloads? What? It's okay, Dev. That's 2 weeks away. We've got time.
Yeah, make sure you follow HarHarHQ at Twitter. Keeps up to date with us there. YouTube now as well.
Mhm.
We should probably add that to our thing.
Yeah, now that it. Oh, God damn it. That's
But we
more
can't do
work.
that, can we? Because we don't have a link to it, do we? You just type YouTube HQ. That pops up for us. Right? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll talk about this later. Maybe.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. Sure, follow us on Twitter. We post everything there. So.
Yep. Thanks for joining us this week, everybody. Thanks for actually being here, Jay. I'm just kidding. Thanks for showing up, man. And thanks to everyone who showed up and listened to us. We will see you guys next Sunday with, those good old-fashioned Jordan Peele movies. Yeah. Bye, guys.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!